Hey y'all, it's BDC. Thanks for stopping by. Today we are doing Empyrion Galactic Survival, believe it or not. I haven't done an Empyrion video, rather, in quite some time. I primarily do videos of things that I've already got built and then stick them up on the Steam Workshop. But today I'm going to deviate from that a little bit, and I'm actually going to do one creating two different, I guess you want to call it, base structures, but not really. I came up with this idea, excuse me, for something called an O2 relay station while playing on a public server a few days ago. And I wanted to do this video here of just doing the straight creation process, kind of showing my process, my chain of thought, my line of thinking on how I'm doing everything, that sort of thing like that. And to show just how easy it is to build stuff in Empyrion, because it really kind of is, But anyway, what I'm going to wind up doing here is I'm going to do two different types of this type of structure. And one's going to be primarily concrete, and one's going to be primarily stone. And I came up with the idea for this thing called an O2 relay station, which is, all it is an O2 station that you walk up to and get oxygen off of, and a bunch of oxygen tanks below it. And I came up with this idea, like I mentioned a second ago, playing on this public server a couple of nights ago that had, it was it was Reforged Eden is what it was the scenario. And I started on one of the ultra hard difficulty planets, the Dread planet actually, where it's difficult to get stone, not impossible, and a little bit more easy to get metal when you go and salvage old bases and all that kind of stuff. Basically, the way that planet, that starter planet in that scenario set up is, it's like the after effects of this giant, either solar flare or nuclear something or whatever, and it's just this humongous wasteland. And there's ruined structures all over the place. You can't find trees. You can't find fresh water. There's radiation. So it's a pretty hard and pretty gnarly start. But one of the challenges I had for myself was not exhausting all the O2 bottles that I started with on my person when I spawned in. So I thought, what would be kind of nice would be to have some kind of a small little relay station, maybe next to an area or alongside an area that I would then later build a base. And what it would do is it would facilitate my ability to keep my guy alive, and fed with oxygen, maybe with from a couple of water generators parked in one of the radiated lakes nearby, because they still work. They still produce the water containers, that kind of thing like that. So I wound up popping back into creative, and this was my first test one. That kind of gave me an idea as to what I wanted to do. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a slightly more trimmed down version of this, and I'm going to make one out of stone that's primarily concrete, like this was the primarily concrete block one, and then one primarily out of steel. And the idea there is that some starter planets, depending upon the scenario and how it's set up, may have a lot of access to, say, iron or silicone, whereas some may have very limited access to them, concrete or whatever type of thing, which is stone-based. So it's just to throw two different options out there. These things are very, very minimalist. They're something that I'm trying to keep is like a level 3 type thing. You don't really have to do much to be able to get this blueprint and spawn it in, and it's something that should only take 5 minutes or something, to spawn in. So that's kind of the idea behind it. A lot of the builds I do in Empyrion are for very early survival, to kind of fill in that stepping stone that you need to be able to get to the larger or more exotic bases that you can build later. But it's to kind of help with the initial struggle when you start out. So, which reminds me, I'm going to put a link down below for my my Steam Workshop, so you can check out some of my builds. And I need to go through and update a bunch of stuff now that the game has been updated from, I think, version 1.0 when I was last messing with this. Anyway, let's get started. So I use this one as my template over here. We're going to start with the base starter block, and this one I think will end up having 8 tanks. I'm going to reduce that down some. Let's see, it's 8. I'm going to reduce that probably down in half, or at least maybe 2/3. So let's do 6, and let's see what the cost is on these things. Or no, actually, let's do 4. 4 to start with. 4,000 O2 capacity for a few players is fine, especially if you have a means of getting a lot of oxygen in there. So 1 oxygen bottle to fill. One of these, let's see, that's 250. So that would be for is it 32 bottles? Do I have that right? No, 16 bottles. Okay, that's probably fine. So we'll just go with 4 then. So let's move that around. And something I need to do once I get kind of a little bit of a basic thing built here is I need to replicate it on the other end, because I'm going to do the metal version of this as well. So I want to make sure that they're exactly copied. Okay. Now the paint colors don't really mean anything. It's just I have kind of standard colors I use for everything. All this stuff is going to be subterranean, so it doesn't really matter what's done here. And let me see if I did anything else in here. I don't think I did. I normally stream doing build content, and then I never save it, so if you look over at my YouTube channel content, all the other videos I have, they're almost always videos of, hey, that's built, let me show it off, here's how I did it, but not the actual raw build process. And this is something I've been meaning to do a little bit more often. I need a Jenny in here, so, and don't want to make this a double stacker, so I could sacrifice one of these O2 tanks. I have to have the fuel tank. I have to have a generator. You know what I'll do? I'll move that O2 tank on the floor underneath where this guy will go. Say, I'll place it right here and replace that concrete block with that. That makes it to where anybody has ease of access. They can, when they're walking up to it, they can hit their F button and boom, they can throw O2 bottles down. So I'll do that, and that will still yield 4 that I want. So let's see, let's make that right there. Color him, get him out of the way. I should probably start copying this guy over here. So I've never done 2 duplicate builds at the exact same time, so this is a little bit weird. This game is so much fun. I've put so many hours into Empyrion. I have so many things built. Whatever. Don't split hairs, BDC. It doesn't really matter. Let's see, and I do that dark purple for the Jenny. So get these colored up real quick. This thing's not some, mega uber fantastic thing. I have other crap built over here. Those are actual real tooling vehicles. They do something. This is just kind of a simple thing, so I don't anticipate this video being terribly long. But at least it'll be something for those of y'all that are watching that have never played this game or have seen other videos on YouTube about it, or curious about it. Kind of the basics of creative mode construction, and how it works. I don't need my damn helmet on out here. Let's see. So we're gonna do 1 solar capacitor instead of 2, because 2 is redundant. It's a waste of materials. One of the things I'm wanting to do is trying to keep this down, and subsequently that as well, but this down here. Since this is something that's supposed to be like a level 3 type of thing, you want to keep this on level at level 3. I'm trying to keep the materials that are required as low as possible. Now this is something where your dude is walking around on a non-oxygenated or non-breathable starter planet, and you have a portable constructor and a goofy little, stupid survival tool where you're whacking away at little tiny iron and silicone rocks on the ground that you might find. So you're maybe half hour or 20 minutes in. That's kind of where I'm targeting this to be here. Okay, we're going to have our station up above the center. So do I have any more of those stations handy? May not. Let's grab 2 of those and get out of there. Okay, we don't care what direction it's facing. It doesn't matter. That can't be concrete. That needs to be steel block, and not armored concrete. Where did I put the steel blocks? Did I not get any? Standard steel blocks. There we go. So O2 stuff, I use a light blue on everything. There's our concrete. And so what I'm going to do is basically copy portions of this guy, because I liked how this one turned out. I spawned this one in on that same public server, and I liked how it turned out. It was just a little bit more resource intensive than I needed. It had too many O2 tanks, and it had too many solar capacitors. So I figure I will minimalize it even further, chop it down a little bit more. Okay, so we did. What are these like ramp A? Yeah, ramp alpha. That's right. And most of this is below the surface, so ideally you bury it up to this line right there going across. So only a little bit of it sticks up, and you basically run right up to the station and walk right off of it. Let's see, and ramp alpha on this guy. So I will texture these both up differently. Those are cut corners is what those are. I gotta remember where the hell those are. That's what happens when you don't play this game for a while and you forget a bunch of it. That looks right. So cut corner Charlie. So since I already have this out, this basically out. This shouldn't be a like I mentioned earlier, a very long process. It's not going to be some 2-hour, creation thing or whatever. Wait, no, that's the wrong block. That's the correct one. And let's see, we are corner alpha. And then what do we do over here? Okay, we used that, replaces the flat one, so you get direct access. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to rotate those things around a little bit. Yeah, I like that right there. There we go. So it's a little more obvious, hey, this is an O2 tank. You stand here and put it in there, and it kind of matches up with where the station is. So here we're going to have square blocks for the one single small solar panel, and we will use Charlie's right here. Okay, but nope, that's concrete. It's not what we wanted. Actually, let's do this proper. So those of y'all that are watching this that have never played Empyrion but are curious about it, I'm using the wrong ramps on that, I think. Am I? I am using the wrong ramps on that. Y'all should get it. It's a lot of fun. It's been in development now. I think is it still technically early access? I don't think it is early access anymore, but it's been out for a good 4 years or something like that. So we've had a lot of fun with it. I joined a group of guys who just build stuff in this game, and we've had a lot of fun with it. I haven't been active in it in several months, but it is still quite a fun game. We're going to flip this guy around. Nope, wrong one. Where are you at? So it's kind of like an arcade version of Space Engineers. Let's see, another ramp alpha. Nope. Wrong button again. So if you play Space Engineers, you know how to play Space Engineers, you can play Empyrion. Except this one's more survival oriented, and there's a whole galaxy of stuff you can do. It's all these different planets, a solar system. You know, this is whatever the starter one is, and then I think all of these stars you can go to. It's pretty nutty. It's not like Elite Dangerous big or anything like that, but it's still a lot of fun. Okay, so we're gonna get our one single solar panel. There we go. And that might actually be it. That was a little bit less eventful than I thought it'd be. So, stone, I like to do a darker kind of gunmetal-ish color. Hang on a minute, actually. Let's carry it down from here, down to the 50s. I like to do that for, let's see, the entirety of the block. That doesn't look right. That's better. So for stone structures, this is kind of my preference, although that might be a little bit dark. That's a little bit closer to black. Okay, let's raise him back up some. Yeah, I can dig that. Let's make sure we get everything and not miss anything. Probably one in the middle I missed over there, but I don't care. And as far as metal, staying true to form with it, we use a metallic texture that's too light. Possibly. Definitely not that. That looks like a bathroom floor tile. And, well, you know, I could use the more paneled, kind of worn, beat up look is kind of cool looking. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's not bad. And there's one more thing I need to do. I forgot the lights. So I use corner lights on all sorts of stuff. These little strip lights right there. And let's see. I'm not going to do anything else as far as concrete around here because the burial line is going to be at least halfway up on this plane right here. You can see where my cursor is. So all that's going to be underground. And this doesn't really require a big large plot, so you don't have to have this, you know, big giant super flat area. A lot of bases are like that, where you purposely build some of them in, so you don't want to build them on, you know, hillsides or whatever. While I'm thinking about it, no, I don't like that. No, that's too loud. Nope, that's too blah. The polished marble's kind of cool looking. But actually, I think I'll just stick with this kind of wornish panel looking one. This isn't supposed to be an, you know, an eye catcher or anything. Black trim on the lights. Solar panel, I always do white. No idea why. And there you go. They are both built. So, let's see, we go in here in auto group, because we're not going to use anything custom on here. This is very simple. Who cares? So this is going to be O2 relay station, metal, and let's see what we got as far as build on here. A lot of iron, a little bit of copper and silicone, 10 carbon substrate, 5 minutes to build. That's just fantastic. Same with you, auto group over here. And O2 relay station stone. And let's look at the difference here. So yeah, stone dust and then lower cost on the iron at least. So you know, a trade-off of flip-flop. In a little bit faster cooking time in the blueprint factory. So are these anything really to write home about? Not really. It's just a small little simple solution that would probably be outdated once you got a base built, unless you do what like I and several others do, or when we build bases, we don't have one big giant superstructure. We have smaller ones and kind of more like a village look. And if this were on a planet that had no atmosphere and you're out on the surface a lot with your suit helmet, you know, your suit O2, then something like this might be handy. Maybe even a couple of them on either sides. If you've got a smaller base and then you've got, say, structure over here for refining materials, metals like a furnace, you know, or one with a landing pad over here for ships, or who knows. You know, so it could serve a purpose like that. But anywho, I got to make sure to remember to, once I get both of these submitted up to the workshop, to place them down below in the description. So I've got 3 things to put in there, and now I've already forgotten what the what the first was. Steam Workshop link. So I think that's it. Pretty simple. Those things should run on autopilot. Put a little bit of fuel in them, and they'll sit and run forever. Especially with the one solar. Easy access for O2, and it, even with 4 tanks, it still holds quite a bit. So there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Any questions or comments, leave them down below. I'll probably be playing Empyrion more and putting more content up. I have a lot to catch up on, actually. A lot of my old builds. So I will try to answer all your questions as knowledgeably as I can. I'm having to dust some of this stuff off because I haven't, like I said, I haven't played this in quite a while. But anywho, like and sub if you would, please. And appreciate y'all watching. So y'all have a good one.